Hello, everybody. Let me just get my camera right here. Hope everybody's doing good. I'd like to welcome you back to Gal Fridays Mystery Card Monday. Now, this week I was going to do it a little differently and just give you clues and then show you my card at the end. But after discussions with a few different people. Look, I just found a die. With a few different people, I decided I was going to craft along. Hey, do with you so we can get all our directions straight. Because I know it's a little off. This is my PDF. And actually, if I can find my pen, because it is wrong. When I sent the PDF, I think I corrected it in the room, but my PDF here is wrong. It is 8.5 by 4.25. That is the size of the cardstock. So let's go through all of our cardstock before we get started. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? What you doing? We're doing a mystery card night. What you see on the screen are the dimensions of all the cardstock that you need. We have a group where I'll give away a prize. Last week Margaret won, and it's just a random draw, and all you have to do is post your card in the group. And last week I gave away a half a pack of designer series paper. Not sure what I'm doing this week. So let's go through each of the pieces of the first clue. We need a colored piece of cardstock measuring 8.5 by 4.25. And that's what I have here. I know, this is my second Monday. And then we're going to use the same color as the base or a coordinating cardstock measuring 8 by 3. So I stuck with the Night of Navy. Then we're going to cut another piece, where is it, of the same colored cardstock. And that is going to measure 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. We're going to use some basic white, which is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. Another piece of basic white measuring 2.5 by 1.5. And then 2 pieces of designer series paper. Both the same if you want. And I did 5 1/4 by 4 and then 4 by 2. I just want to make sure that's the right one. Yep. And then a second piece of designer series paper with a different design measuring 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then you're going to need a stamp set. I decided to use Petal Park. And I'm also going to use the sentiment from Sending Support. It's a celebration. Hi, Margaret. How are you, honey? And then we need our paper trimmer, punches if you need to punch anything out. I could actually punch the flowers out if I wanted. And adhesives, some dimensionals, and your embellishments. Okay, so that is what we need to create our mystery card tonight. So we are going to go to clue number 2. We are going to take our 8.5 by 4 1/4 cardstock. And let me just grab my paper trimmer. And I hit it because of the dog. So we'll just grab the scoreboard. And we are going to score this at 5.5. Okay, so we should have a 5.5 by 4.25 piece of cardstock now. Okay, so it's scored right here at 5.5. So let's just fold it and burnish. So you'll see that the front flap is smaller than the card base. So for right now, we can put that aside. Clue number 3. Let's take that piece that's 8 by 3, and we are going to score this one right in half at 4 inches. And we're just going to, oops, did I do it wrong? Yep, my cardstock is the wrong size. So give me 1 second. I actually cut it at 8.5 instead of 8. All right, so here's our second piece. This is the 8 by 3 scored at 4 inches. So we can put that one aside. And then clue number 4. We have our DSP, and this should be the 5.25 by 4. And we are going to adhere that to the inside of our 8.5 by 4.25 cardstock. So I'm going to use some glue. This way I have some wiggle room. Now I could have used the flower side, but I decided to use the stripes. So we're just going to adhere this, whoops, right to the center of this card. So that is our clue number 4. So if you're creating with me, are you up to speed? Okay. Now you can use whatever designer series paper you want. Everybody's cards will look different. All right, let's jump to the next clue. Okay, so we scored at 5.5. We scored at 4. We added our designer series paper. So that is what we have so far. Clue number 5. Adhere the 4 by 2 3/4 piece of DSP to the left side of your 8 by 4.25 card base. So this is what we consider, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. This is the piece that we consider our card base. And we're going to take one of the larger pieces, the larger piece that measures 2 3/4 by 4. I think that's what I said. And this is going to get adhered to this side of the card. Now, when I lay this one down, and again, I could have put the flowers, I want to line this up on this piece so it's centered and it's even with this piece that we already inserted on the inside of the card. So now when the card is closed, very busy, you can see that the designer series paper is straight at the top and it's straight at the bottom. All right, still our flap. This is the Regency Park designer series paper. That's what the 6 by 6 Regency Park. All right, So here's our 4 by 2 3/4 added to the front of our card. So now we're going to go to clue number 6. And clue number 6 is, with the fold to your right, here's our 8 by 3 piece of cardstock. And here's our fold. So we want our fold facing the right-hand side. We are going to adhere this to the center of this card, just like this. So I'm going to add some glue. And I'm going to center this 8 by 3 that we scored at 4 inches to the center of the card. Now this paper, Designer Series paper, is pretty nice because it has the stripes on it. So I can pretty well get this in here and it's centered. Okay. So let's go to clue. So this was clue 6. Fold on the right hand side, adhere it to the center of our card. And let's go to clue number 7. We're going to adhere the 4 by 2 3/4 DSP using the second pattern. So here's my DSP that I've used. I'm just going to flip it over and put that right there on the center of this card. So for this card, I actually used 2 pieces, and I'll pull it out. Let me just get this on here so it dries for a second. This card, I used 2 pieces of 6 by 6, and here is what I have left. All right, so they're just tiny little pieces that I could use on something else. So 2 pieces of 6 by 6 I used. All right, so there is our 4 by 2 3/4 adhered to our 8 by 3. Is everybody with me so far? So now we're going to go to the inside of go to clue number 8. And we are going, oh, my tickets. We're going to see Moses tomorrow at Sight and Sound. So now we're going to adhere the 3 3/4 by 2 3/4 piece of basic white to the inside. Now I would suggest not using glue to adhere this, because if you've done it before, like I have, and you adhere your basic white with liquid glue, it does have a tendency to show through. So I am going to adhere this with the seal. I'm not going to move that. Now, at this point in time, you could add whatever you wanted to the inside. It is small, so I could actually, I'm going to grab these little flowers. And just so I don't leave the inside of the card completely naked, I am going to grab some Night of Navy ink. And I'm not going to go crazy. These are the flowers from Petal Park. And I'm just going to put 3 in that corner. Make sure it's inked up good. I'll put 3 in this corner. Now that's the outline of those flowers. And then I'm going to grab some Balmy Blue. And I'm going to grab the second stamp to the little flowers. And I just want to make sure I have them the right way, because they do fit a certain way. And I think that's it. And I'm using Balmy Blue to fill these flowers in. Let me just make sure it's right on this side. Nope. So you just have to turn your stamp until you get it. There we go. In the proper direction. All right, so there is the flowers. Yeah, the Night of Navy, and this really does look pretty. I know my class to go, I did basic white with the paper, the DSP. I did basic white, balmy blue, and petal pink. I should have done it in Night of Navy. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, so here's the inside of our card. Clue 9. We're going to grab this small little 2.5 by 1.5 inch piece of cardstock, and we are going to stamp the sentiment. So let me just get these clues out of the way for a second. And I'm actually going to use courage is being really scared and doing it anyway. I think that is a perfect statement for any endeavor you make in your life. And I know for me, I've needed lots of courage lately. Now, the only problem is, let me just to be on the safe side, I don't usually use my stickers, only for sentiments. So I'm just going to take these stickers off. I'm going to lay this down. Hopefully it is centered. Whoops. Don't get stuck. There we go. I laid it down too soon. I actually dropped it. So I'm just going to hope that's on there correctly. It looks pretty straight. And I'm going to use Night of Navy again. I'm going to just check it, though, to make sure it is on here straight. And it looks to be. So I have my small little, let me make sure I got the right size, 2.5 by 1.5 piece of basic white. And I am going to stamp this directly in the center. Now, before I do anything else, I am actually going to grab the leaf outline, and I know it's a big giant stamp, and this is a tiny little piece. Let me get my bigger block. This one's too big. Here it is. So I'm just going to get this block. And like I said, I know it's very, very big. But I am going to pull out some soft succulent. And I'm just going to, ink up just about half the stamp. And I'm going to actually stamp off and then stamp it on. Just so this piece isn't completely white. And then for the flowers, I think they are connected also. I'm going to grab the flowers and some balmy blue. Let's get rid of the soft succulent. And let's see. I just want to see how I want to put this. Maybe just like that. I'm going to ink up. This is the colored section where we would be coloring the inside of the stamp. And what did I say? Like this. And I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on, just to give the sentiment a little bit of color. We can still see the sentiment, right? So now our next clue is we stamped our sentiment. I dressed it up a little bit. No, do. The words are from the celebration sending support. Right here. Perfect sentiment for me lately, for sure. All right, so clue 10. We are going to adhere our sentiment to this piece of colored cardstock. Okay, and again, we're going to use our seal so we don't have the glue show through. And we're going to center this. Now we can pull in our card. We're going to close our flap, close our flap, and we're going to grab our sentiment, and we're going to pop this sentiment up. That's clue 11. I did not add. So we're going to pop this right up onto the front of the card. I'm going to cut this up. Get a lot of mileage out of the sides of these dimensionals. All right, so let's pull this in. We're going to center this right on the front of our card. Now, it looks a little too plain for me, so I am actually going to, I have a little bit of this variegated ribbon in balmy blue and white. Perfect. I'm going to just tie a quick bow. Have to add a bow just to dress it up a little bit. You like this one too? Yeah, this is cute. It's really a nice, simple little card, and you can use any color, any designer series paper. I think I've said it before. If you're like me, you have a lot of designer series paper laying around. And I mean, I just don't know what to do with it all the time. But this is a perfect card to use up some designer series paper. If you need to make a lot of cards, this is perfect. All right, let me just grab a glue dot. I think I'll add it over here. And then I'm going to grab some, let's get some iridescent pearls. And I'm going to use the smaller of the pearls. And I'm going to add 1, 2. So I have 2 right here. You can just about see them. And they're going, let me just move it up, as you can see, from top to bottom. And then I'm going to put one in the corner here. And then I'm going to put one to the left of that one. So now I have 2 right here. And then I'll add one to the sentiment layer. So there we go. Just a cute little card. Looks like it would open like a 5.5 by 4 1/4. But what a surprise. It opens like this. So how about that? Quick and easy little mystery card. I know, right, Dew? You just don't know what to use. But yeah, so there is our mystery card. So for next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do our clues like I did here, but instead of creating the card, I'll walk you through and show you my card at the end. And there we go. So if you decide to create this card and have it done by, what's today? Let's have it done by Friday. Margaret, your paper is in the mail. Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands. Yeah. If you decide to create this card again, post it in the mystery card group and I will pick a winner. So have it posted by Friday. I'll pick a winner Friday evening. And I will give away, this week I'll give away, good question. We'll do another set of Designer Series paper. And I'll do the Dainty Delights. I'll give you a 1/4 pack of Dainty Delights. Oh, they're supposed to be clapping. Yes, they do, Sharon. Everybody's cards are beautiful. So again, post it in the group by Friday, and I will pick a winner randomly, not by the card design, but just putting your name in random.org and picking a winner. Thanks for joining. If you have any friends that you think would enjoy this, let them know. Every Monday, 7 o'clock on my YouTube channel. I will see you Thursday night. Enjoy, ladies. Bye-bye.